Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is August 21st, 2024, and Barcelona have reached an agreement for the transfer of Vitor Roque. Also, an agreement is in place for Ilkay Gundogan's return to the Premier League. And finally, we are going to talk about Dani Olmo's registration, which has many people worried. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo. This is the Barca News live podcast, which is on every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, where not only do I get to share Barcelona news with you, but I also get to interact with you lovely people in the chat section by reading your comments out loud, answering your questions, and getting a discussion going. For those of you who will be watching when the podcast ends, I will be putting timestamps in the description and chapters in the timeline in case you do want to skip through the discussion. Having said all that, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. If you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure you hit the Give Back, Fanatics, or Goal Kits. If you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure you hit the Bet Us. All links are down below in the description. Now, let's begin with the news because today the team was back at it during training in preparation for Barcelona's next match, which will be against Athletic Club de Bilbao. And as you might already know, we have actually an incredibly hectic schedule coming up. 3 matches in 1 week. Yes, you heard that correctly. 3 matches in 1 week, and I'll make this bigger. But these are the 3 upcoming matches. On Saturday, Barcelona will face off against Athletic Club de Bilbao at home at the Olympic Stadium in Montjuic. After that, on Tuesday, so that's 3 days later, Barcelona will travel to Vallecas to play against Rayo Vallecano. And then Barcelona will come back home 4 days later to play against Real Valladolid. So 3 matches in 1 week. I don't know who planned this schedule, but it's absolutely an awful schedule to have 3 matches in 1 week. We'll see how the team deals with this, but hopefully we can pull 9 points out of 9. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Now, more news because today our own Polish striker turned 36 years old. Today was his birthday, Robert Lewandowski. His birthday is on August 21st, and today he turned 36 years old. Pretty amazing, especially if you look at this picture. Look how jacked this guy is. He is 36 years old, and he looks like that. And he's still playing at one of the best leagues in the world. Man, I got to tell you, if I can look half as good as that or perform 10% of that at 36, I think I would be pretty much happy. But today is Lewandowski's birthday, so we do wish him a happy birthday, and hopefully he can find his form under Flick and he can return to his goal-scoring days. And then one more bit of news, and this is great news. Great news for our own Marc-Andre Ter Stegen, because today Manuel Neuer announced his retirement from the German national team. And as such, Ter Stegen is set to inherit the number 1 jersey and become the starting goalkeeper for Germany. So congratulations to Ter Stegen. I think it's long overdue. So I'm very, very happy for him. I'm happy that he finally gets to represent his country as the starting goalkeeper. So definitely good news there for our German wall, the Ter Stegen Airlines. All right, let's do the chat section, and then we will talk about the agreement to transfer Vitor Roque. All right, let's see. KF says free Palestine and the oppressed people around the world. Amen, my friend. Thank you for your comment. Tizan says, hi, Mo. How you doing? Can you talk about the signing of Chiesa? I will talk about the signing of Chiesa in next video, so stay tuned to the channel. I won't be talking about it in the podcast. That's a topic for the next video that will be coming up in an hour. Mark says, I know we aren't getting Leao, but theoretically, with people leaving and somehow that Nike deal was signed, would that make it even somewhat possible? On paper, sure. I mean, I don't even know if with paper. Okay, if we get 150 million in signing bonus on paper, yes, it would be possible. Because they're saying Milan would want around 100 to 130 for Leao. So yes, we would have the cash to pay the transfer fee. But Would that be wise? I don't think it would be. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Leao is probably the best left winger in the world right now. I think he's way better than Nico. I think he's better than Kvaratskhelia. For me, he's the best. But you've been struggling for years, financially speaking. You're drowning in debt. You've been struggling for years. You were on the verge of bankruptcy. You've had to sell assets. You've had to borrow money. And finally, after years of struggle, you get this huge signing bonus that can help you get back to financial health. Do you want to go right away and turn around and just spend it on one player? I don't think that would be financially wise. Again, it has nothing to do with the player. People like to misinterpret things all the time. You know, like when I used to say that Dani Olmo signing is not necessary because we have so many players. People were like, what are you talking about? Dani Olmo's great. You're a Dani Olmo hater. And I was like, hold on a minute. I'm not talking about Dani Olmo. I'm not saying Dani Olmo's a bad player. I'm saying we don't need another attacking midfielder. That's different. Same thing here. Don't get me wrong. Leao, I think he's one of the best. But would it be wise to spend all the money that we finally get from the Nike deal on just one player? That's where I kind of split on that. All right, Wisdom says, if we sell Christensen, we should just end the season already. I don't know about that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Christensen. I think he's one of the best center backs in Europe. But if we sell him, we're not going to just all of a sudden crumble and fall apart. We still have Araujo. Yes, he's injured, but we still have Araujo, who I think is better than Christensen. Christensen, we'll have Kouarsi. We still have Inigo Martinez. We still have Eric Garcia. Like, we have plenty of options. The team is not going to fall apart if we sell Christensen. Do I want Barcelona to sell Christensen? No, I don't. I love Christensen. I want him to stay. But I'm also not going to resort to hyperbole just to prove my point. All right, Paulo says, why does the board keep lying to us? First, they want to sign Nico. Couldn't. Even if they did, he wouldn't be registered, and we can't even register Dani. And now they say they have the money for Leao. First of all, the board didn't lie and said we were going to register Nico. They said they were going to try, and they did. They met with Nico's agent. They made the offer. They were willing to pay the release clause. Nico said no. There's nothing you could do there. As far as Leao, the board never said we are affording Leao. That's just the media who ran with the story, and then people bought it, and they're all of a sudden, you know, it's the board lying to us. It's not the board lying to you. Like I said in yesterday's video, Deco did reach out to AC Milan just to see, like, hey, how much would it be to sell Leao? That's it. No point has Deco, Laporta, or anyone came out and said we're going to sign Leao. That's just the media. I think you need to learn how to differentiate between someone actually saying something versus the media claiming that person saying that. Even though the media is not claiming that anyone said that either. The media just ran with the story saying Barcelona trying to sign Leao because Deco reached out to AC Milan. Just because you reach out to someone doesn't mean you're going to try to sign the player. I can literally right now pick up the phone and call the Ferrari dealership and be like, hey, what inventory do you have? Does that mean I'm buying a Ferrari? No, I'm not buying a Ferrari. I can't afford one. So, and as far as Dani Olmo's registration, we'll talk about it in a little bit. Ross says, Mo, ya sahbi, how about we give 60 that we have for Nico and a player to Milan for Leao? Doable? No. Milan would want at least, they're saying at least 130. Some are saying 150. So no. There's no way. There's just no way. We would have to sell so many players to sign Leao. I mean, we would have to sell Frankie, and he doesn't want to leave for like 60, 80. We would have to sell Rafinha, who also doesn't want to leave for like 50 or 60. And we still have to sell probably another big star or costly player, maybe Christensen for 40. And then maybe we could sign Leao. And guess what? None of those players want to leave. So I don't think it's possible. I just don't think. Anyway, speaking of players going, leaving, signing, etc., let's talk about Vitor Roque, because Barcelona have reached an agreement for the transfer of the Brazilian player. And no, it's not the Sporting CP. It's to Real Betis in La Liga. And no, it's not a permanent transfer. It will be on a simple loan until 2025. Now, we know Sporting CP were heavily interested in Vitor Roque. The player had actually given his agent a green light to negotiate with the Portuguese team, and Sporting CP were willing to offer 25 million euros fixed for the player. Plus, they were saying 5 million in variables because Barcelona were insisting. If you want to sign Vitor Roque on a permanent basis, you have to pay 30 to 35 million euros because that's how much Barcelona paid. They paid 30 for Roque, so they wanted to recoup their investment. So they were insisting, if you want to buy Roque, you got to offer 30. Sporting CP couldn't offer the full 30. They could offer 25 plus 5. But in the last minute, Real Betis sent a delegation to Barcelona that included their president, who did not travel with their team to Slovakia. I think they're playing Europa. I think it is Europa. Maybe conference. I don't know. One of those competitions that I don't really care about. But the president of Real Betis did not travel with the team. Instead, traveled with the delegation personally in order to convince Vitor Roque to choose the Real Betis project over the Sporting CP project. And it looks like Roque was convinced by that meeting with that delegation from Real Betis, and he has chosen Real Betis. Now, Barcelona wanted Sporting CP because Barcelona wanted to offload Roque on a permanent basis. They needed that money from his sale, but Roque said, no, I'm not going there. I'm going to Real Betis. So Roque forcing Barcelona's hand, and therefore Barcelona have reached an agreement with the Real Betis, which will be a simple loan. The player will go for the entire season. He will come back at the end of this season, which will be in the summer of 2025. I think this is actually not a bad deal because for all we know, Roque could end up going to Real Betis, playing the whole season, and who knows? Maybe he could end up, fully adapting, and he ends up being the star that we all hoped he would be. Because at the end of the day, let's not forget, Roque was killing it in Brazil. He was killing it with Atletico Paranaense. He killed it in I think it was under 20 or under 17 Brazilian competition. He was scoring goals left and right. He was doing amazing. He comes here. He's only given a few minutes here and there. And then all of a sudden, the club want to sell him, which I think it's a pretty dumb thing to do because they never gave him the time to adapt. He just came in the winter. He hasn't even spent a full season here. He spent half a season, and all of a sudden the club want to get rid of him. Let's not forget Vinicius. It took him 2 full seasons before he even started showing signs of improvement. So maybe this could be a big or a silver lining in all the situation where Roque could go to Real Betis. I'm sure he's going to be playing every match, starting, etc. And then who knows? Maybe he finishes adaptation and then can come back to Barcelona and kill it like we all hoped. If not, maybe his value goes up, and then next summer we can sell him for more than 30 or 35 million euros. And then worst case scenario, let's say he still flops at Real Betis. Well, then at least we know, right? We know he was never good enough. And then at least we don't have to sit around and wonder, well, what if we would have given Roque a little bit more? What if? No what ifs, then we'll know for sure. So I think this is actually, for me, personally speaking, this is a better outcome that we have loaned Vitor Roque to Real Betis. But of course, Barcelona wanted a permanent transfer because cash for the player would have helped a lot with the financial fair play and plus with the finances of the club. All right, let's do more comments and then we will talk about Ilkay Gundogan. Afri says, hi Mo, I was waiting for this podcast, catching live from Zambia. Keep on doing a great job. We appreciate it. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for tuning in and for your comment. And Zach Brent says, next up, Laporta and Deco set their eyes on the legendary loan deal for prime Johan Cruyff from Heaven FC. Hey, man, I'm on board for that. I'm definitely on board. As a coach, though, not as the player. Things have changed. I don't know if a player from the 70s will be able to keep up with the pace of today's football. So as a coach. Alfred says, hi, Mo. I'm Jared B. Morris, joining you from Liberia. Thanks for all the information on our team. Thank you, my friend, for watching and for your comment. And Emza says, hi, Mo. Greetings from South Africa. Do you honestly think we can sign Rafael Leao? In a short answer, absolutely not. I guess that was a long answer. The short answer would have been no. The longer answer would have been fuck no. Excuse my language, but no, it's not happening. And Kansa says, hey, Mo, this Papa Coffee from Ghana. This is my first time on the live. All right, my friend, welcome to the live. I hope you join us more often, and thank you for your comment. And Martin says, with the outgoing players, registration shouldn't be a problem, and buying Rafael Leao and paying in installments shouldn't be an issue either. Let's see what Barca board does. It's absolutely an issue. Rafael Leao is an untouchable player for AC Milan. It's like someone coming and saying, we want to sign Gabi, or we want to sign, I don't know, Pedri, or we want to sign Lamine Yamal, and we want to pay you in installments. Guess what Barcelona is going to say to that? They're going to say, absolutely not. First of all, he's not for sale. Second of all, if you want to buy him, you better pay the full, 200, 300 million. But obviously, Lamine Yamal has a release clause, which is 1 billion, but that only happens in La Liga. La Liga is the only league that requires all contracts to have release clauses, and other leagues they don't. But let's say there is no release clause, and Barcelona value Lamine Yamal at, I don't know, 250 million. If a club comes and says we want to buy Lamine, they're gonna say first, it's not for sale. Second, if he is for sale, you're gonna pay the full 250 million that we value him at. They're gonna be like, oh yeah, sure, we'll accept installments. How would you like those installments? Let's be real here. Turner says, good evening, bro. How is your day? Hope fine. I'm Turner from Sierra Leone. Who do we sign for the left wing? Thank you, my friend. I will talk about the signing of the left wing in the next video. And we do have a donation from Baby Scumbag who says thoughts on Christensen possibly being sold. Like I said earlier, I prefer that we don't sell Christensen. I think he's an excellent center back. To me, he's one of the best center backs in Europe. Not to mention that he can play in a pivot position. Even though one thing I did notice in the match against Valencia, because we brought in Christensen, he was playing in a pivot position, and then he switched back to center back. Then Eric Garcia started out as center back, and he moved over to the defensive midfield position. I liked Eric Garcia better in that position. Keep an eye on that, because I think we're going to see Eric Garcia in that position a lot more, because he's a lot better with the ball at his feet than Christensen is. Christensen is more your typical center back who knows how to read plays, how to intercept passes, he knows how to tackle, take the ball away. Eric Garcia, not so much defensive. He's a lot more better with distributing the ball. Kind of like Pau Cubarsí and Ronald Araujo, where Ronald Araujo is more like the Christensen profile, physical, tall, big, can really intercept passes, tackle players, where Cubarsí is much better with, those passes from the back. Eric Garcia is like that too. So I like Eric Garcia better in that pivot position. I think we're going to see him there more, but I digress. I think Christensen is an excellent defender who also does a great job in the midfield. I would hate to see him leave, but if he does leave, it would be kind of like the case of Gundogan. It wouldn't be the end of the world. We would be losing a great player, but at the same time, we would be, freeing up space on the wage bill. If we make 40 million off his transfer, that would be a huge boost for the club. And we still have plenty of players that can cover that position. Araujo, Cubarsí, Eric Garcia, Íñigo Martínez, etc. So, it's a tough one, but that's the situation of the club. Anyways, let's talk about the next bit of news, since I did mention Ilkay Gundogan, because it's reported that the German-Turkish midfielder has reached an agreement with Manchester City for his return to the Premier League. Everything is in place. The only thing missing is the signature on the contract, and as soon as that's done, Ilkay Gundogan will cease to stop being a Barcelona player and will once again become a Manchester City player under the orders of Pep Guardiola. Now, as I explained in yesterday's video, this all began last Thursday, when Hansi Flick met with Gundogan and he told him, look, I appreciate you a lot. I think you're a great player, but you're not going to have as many minutes as last season. Why? Because we just signed Dani Olmo. We have Fermin Lopez, who's having a huge explosion. And we have plenty of midfielders, plus you're 34 years old. So between, all these midfielders that we have, your advanced age, you're not going to be as important as last season, where he pretty much played every match of every season, of every competition. In fact, Gundogan had the most minutes out of all the players on the squad. So he told him that, and it looks like Gundogan did not like that. So after that meeting, him and his entourage started moving in the market, started to see what are the alternatives. And that's when Gundogan finally communicated to the club that he, was open to leaving. And Barcelona, given that they have a huge financial fair play problem, given that Gundogan's salary is incredibly high, it was going to be 19 million this season. And given that they have so many midfielders and that he's 34, they said, okay, yeah, we like you. You're a great player, but we wouldn't mind you leaving. So Gundogan picked up the phone, called Pep Guardiola, and Guardiola said, I would love to have you back. And well, now they have reached an agreement. Gundogan will go back to Manchester City for one season until the summer of 2025. And they're saying there's an option for him to renew for one more. So it's 1+1 contract. He is leaving for free. He will go back for free. I know some people are like, oh my God, why is that happening? Well, look, he arrived for free. He reduced his salary to come to Barcelona. He did absolutely amazing last season. He was our best player, undoubtedly. He's now forgiven the remainder of the contract that he has with Barcelona in order to go back to Man City. I think the last we the least we could do for him is also allow him to go out for free after all the sacrifice that he did to come to Barcelona. Because let's not forget, Gundogan had just won a treble with Manchester City. He was at the best team in the world with some of the best players in the world under the best coach in the world. And he left all of that, agreeing to reduce his salary to come to Barcelona because he believed that he can help us get back to where we deserve to be. So he made that huge sacrifice to come here, did it for free. I think the least we could do is let him go for free as well. So I don't understand why people are upset saying, oh, Barcelona's stupid, they're letting him go for free. I think that's the right thing to do. And I'm definitely going to miss Gundogan. But with his departure, it will be a huge boost for Barcelona as far as the financial fair play. So to Ilkay Gundogan, we say, thank you, my friend. Thank you for everything you did for Barcelona. Thank you for your sacrifice of coming here from Manchester City to Barcelona. I wish you could have stayed longer, but unfortunately, that's the situation we're in. So I wish you the best of luck with Manchester City, except if Manchester City end up facing Barcelona. All right, let's get back to the chat section, and then we will talk about the registration of Dani Olmo. Raunek said, hey, Mo, when do you think Barca should start looking for the new keeper? It scares me that Mats hasn't had competition at the club, although hasn't been that bad overall. Love your work. Thank you, my friend. Barcelona considered that the next goalkeeper, the next first-team goalkeeper is already in the academy, and his name is Kochen. He's 18 years old. I think he's a juvenil A, if I'm not mistaken. So they consider him to be the future goalkeeper of the first team. Of course, we also have Iñaki Peña. We also have Astralaga and Barça Athletic. So we have plenty of options. So Barcelona are not really prioritizing this. They believe that they have some pretty good options in the reserve team and in the academy. Joshua says, hi, Mo. I think Barca just want to sign a big name by all means. It doesn't make sense signing player when they are going through debt and the players are not really given any significant result. I do agree with you that we have done a bad job signing. However, I don't agree with you that we shouldn't sign players when you're in debt, because signing players is an investment. If you bring a player that works, and that's been the problem with Barcelona, they haven't been doing that. But if you bring a player that works, that fits right, that player will help you win trophies. Trophies directly translate into money. There's prize money that you get from winning trophies. Also, attendance in stadiums increases. That's more money from ticketing. Fans want to buy the jerseys and the merchandise. That's more money from merchandising. More fans want to watch your games on TV. That's more money from TV rights. Sponsors, they want to sponsor a winning team. They don't want to sponsor losers. That's more money from sponsorships. So signing is an investment. If you sign the right players, it automatically generates more money for you. So I don't agree that we shouldn't sign players because we're in debt, but I do agree that we've done a terrible job. 55 million for Ferran Torres. What has Ferran contributed to the team? Absolutely nothing. Rafinha, 60 million. Is he worth that? Absolutely not. So I do agree that we've done a bad job signing, but this is where we at. Hopefully things can get better. The Angry Sparky says, thinking about, by the way, for your generous donation, as usual, it says, sup, Most, I've been seeing rumors Barca apparently have eyes on Chukwuemeka, Chelsea midfielder, as well as Jadon Sancho before the window ends. Any truth here, or is it garbage media yet again? Would you take either? No, there is no truth to either. Jadon Sancho was considered, I think it was, 2-3 months ago, something like that. But his salary was extremely high. Plus, he has some attitude problems. Let's put it that way nicely. As far as Chukwuemeka, I don't think Barcelona ever considered him, or at least I'm not aware of Barcelona ever considering him. But no, Barcelona are not looking to sign either. Barcelona right now are only focused on the left wing. And, of course, on departing players, on offloading players to make space on their wage bill. But thank you, my friend, for your donation. And let's go back to do a few more comments. And then we will do the last bit of news, which is Dani Olmo's registration, because I know a lot of people are worried about that. Let's see. Chama says, hi, Mo, it's good to have you live. I'm beginning to see a problem with the way Barcelona is handling the transfers because they seem to be biased to Spanish players. Example given why Ferran Torres is here. Okay, I addressed this a million times last season. Barcelona are not signing players because they're Spanish. Do they have more Spanish players? Of course they do. It's a Spanish team that plays in a Spanish league. in the country of Spain. Of course, they're going to have Spanish players. It's like saying Pep Guardiola is biased towards English players because Manchester City has English players. That's a pretty silly thing to say. As far as Ferran Torres, why is he still in Barcelona? It's pretty simple. Nobody wants to buy him. You can't sell something that nobody wants to buy. That's simple as that. Barcelona have also done a horrible job signing Rafinha. He's not Spanish. He's Brazilian. Barcelona have done a horrible job handling the Vitor Roque signing. He's not Spanish. He's Brazilian. So I guess if you want to dig and find patterns, you can find them anywhere. But let's be a little bit more, critical thinkers. Sunjek says, I think before the season we were going in the right direction. We were buying quality free signings who were contributing. Suddenly we have money or hope to have money and we start to screw up. It seems like we do good when we sign free players and then we do horrible when we pay for them. It's kind of the same when Xavi first arrived, and then, Alemany went ahead and made some really cool signings like Aubameyang, which did not cost much. Traoré, they brought in Dani Alves, not Dani Silva, for like half a season. And like we did all these Christensen for free, Kessié for free, Gundogan for free. Like we did some pretty cool stuff for free. And then we go and turn around and spend 55 on Ferran and 60 on Rafinha and 30 on Roque. And we don't even give him a chance. We just like get rid of him immediately. And now 55 on Olmo, which again, I don't think he's a bad player, but I don't really think we needed to spend 55 million. So it looks like when we don't have money, we do great. And then when we do have money, we just want to spend it and we do dumb shit with it. But anyways, wow, 399 viewers. I think that is the highest ever. Wow, that is pretty amazing. Thank you guys for the huge turnout. Don't forget to hit the 402. Let's go. I don't think we've ever hit 400 live viewers. So thank you guys for your huge support and your huge turnout. Don't forget to hit the like button. That definitely helps the channel. It recommends the channel to people who've never seen it. So that's the best way to support the channel. Plus, of course, also subscribe. But let's do the last bit of news, and then we will do more comments, I promise. But let's talk about Dani Olmo. Because as you know, the player had not been registered yet. Barcelona did not have space on their wage bill to register Dani Olmo. Plus, they were not in a hurry to do so because Dani Olmo just arrived. He had only trained, I think, 2 or 3 times before the Valencia match. So even if he was registered, he wasn't going to be ready, physically speaking. So Barcelona did not rush to register him or anything. But now it's reported that Barcelona will be able to register him with the departures of Ilkay Gundogan and Vitor Roque. Now, as I said at the beginning of this live stream, Barcelona have agreed to transfer Roque to Real Betis on loan. Now, this does not directly affect the financial fair play because Roque was not registered with the team, right? So even though Barcelona don't have to pay his salary was not registered. So that does not directly affect the financial fair play, which is something. It confirms something I said in a previous video when guys were saying, why is Lenglet registered? And I said, I think they do it for financial fair play reasons. Because if a player comes back from loan and you immediately loan him out or sell him, his salary was never registered. So it's like he was never there. He never existed. So you can only factor in the money you made off his sale, but not his salary. But if you register him, like we did with Lenglet, and then you sell him or loan him, now you're removing his salary off your wage bill, and now that allows you to register other players in his place. But anyways, Roque is not going to affect the financial fair play directly because he was never registered. However, by loaning them out, you are decreasing the wage bill, right? Because even though it doesn't affect the financial fair play directly, it affects it indirectly because it's an expense that the club no longer has to bear because now Real Betis are paying for his salary. So that way it does affect it in an indirect way. Not as good as it would have been if his salary was registered, but it still helps. As far as Ilkay Gundogan, because he was what it's called a franchise player, Barcelona can use 70% of his salary or of the space that his salary would leave on the wage bill towards another player. Now, Gundogan was set to earn between 18 and 19 million gross this upcoming season. So we could use around 70% of that. So that's 13 to 14 million euros that we can use to register another player, which would be enough to register Olmo. because Olmo is not going to be earning that high as Gundogan. So, in other words, yes, Dani Olmo will be registered. Of course, the move of Roque and Gundogan have not been made official yet. The paperwork is being finalized. Everything needs to be signed, dotted, etc. Once that happens, once Gundogan is back in Manchester City and Roque is at Real Betis, then officially Barcelona will be able to register Dani Olmo. We'll see if they're going to be able to do it on time for Athletic Club de Bilbao, even though I don't know if he would be ready by then, because that would be only like, 1 week since he came back, maybe a week and a half, but we'll see. But know that, yes, it will be enough for the registration of Dani Olmo, the departures of Gundogan and Vitor Roque. And we have another donation. Chuchu, who says, "Hi, Mo, you're doing a great job. I wish Roque was sold instead. He just wasn't that guy." Thank you, my friend, for your comment and for your donation. That's what Barcelona wanted. They wanted to sell him, but the player got convinced by Real Betis, and Real Betis could not afford to buy him. They can only afford a loan. So since Roque chose Betis, Barcelona were forced to loan him out. So he'll be headed to Sevilla. I mean the city, not the team, because that's what Real Betis play. Brian says, "Mo, is Lenglet leaving to Atleti now possible after Joao Felix's exit?" Joao Felix's exit definitely helps, because now Atletico Madrid have cash in their pocket and they can use that cash to buy Lenglet. Probably not the full cash, because Lenglet is not worth 50, 60 million. Neither is Joao Felix, but Chelsea, if you guys want to sign me, please, I'm available. I'm not really a professional player. I haven't played in years, but please, I'm available. So yeah, that will help. The only problem is that Barcelona and Atletico Madrid are not seeing eye to eye. So the negotiations have stalled, and Lenglet is kind of forcing Barcelona's hand by saying, "I'm only going to Atletico, and if you don't send me to Atletico, I'm going to stay here and just, earn my huge salary. I don't care if I don't play a single minute." So he's kind of trying to force his way out. But all right, let's see. Abdulli says, "Mo, how you? Sorry, now you don't read my comment." I'm fine, my friend, and I did read your comment. Abdul says, "Hello, Mo. This is my first time on your live. I really like your optimism about our team compared to other podcasts I have listened to. Thanks. Keep up the good work." Thank you, my friend. Thank you for joining the live for the first time. I hope you can join us more often. And Carlos says, "We sure wait for a second half season, save the money, and look for a better player and more save." If you mean in the winter transfer market, that is a possibility. But remember, winter transfer market, there aren't that many available players as the summer. As usually players' contracts expire in the summer. So there's a lot more players available. Plus, usually players don't decide to leave a team until the end of the season because they just had a horrible season or they just fought with their coach or whatever. So there's a lot more available players in the summer than in the winter. Ross says, "A few days ago, you were absolutely certain that Gundogan is not going anywhere. It's all fake stories. 24 to 48 hours later, it changed up. Let's not be too certain on Leao or Nico. After all, we are Barca." True, nothing is impossible in football, and things could change from 1 hour to the other. 1 second, the player's like, "No, I'm not leaving." Next hour, his phone rings, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I'll be right there. Yes, I am leaving." So you are right. But we're talking about financial constraints, right? And if there's no money, there's no money. I mean, Nico, there is money to sign him. We could technically afford Nico. But if Nico says no, there's not much we could do. So in that case, that would be a bigger possibility than Leao. Because Leao, we simply don't have 130 million to pay for Leao. We just don't, right? I would love to have a Lamborghini. I would love it. But I don't have the money to buy one, right? It's the same thing with Leao. With Nico, it's more of a matter of the player. I don't think he's going to change his mind. I think he's going to stay. But that's more of a possibility, right? Because he could technically change his mind. That is something that's possible. Do we have money for Leao? We don't. And that's not a matter of possibility or not. It's just a fact. We don't. Berkey says, "Respect, Mo, joining from Jamaica. I love how you are honest and not down in the club like some other vloggers." Thank you, my friend. Thank you for your comment and for watching. Darko says, "How he reduced his salary? He get it in Man City, 4.6 mil euro, and in Barca, he get 9 mil net." I don't think that's true. Let's see. Paula says, do you think the signing of Dani Olmo makes more sense if the plan was always to sell Ilkay? If that was always the plan, then it does make a little more sense. But we still have Fermin, and we still have Pedri, and even Gabi, who can play in that position. So I think we're still covered. Now, if you tell me that Barcelona intend to use Olmo on the left wing, that would make a lot more sense than signing Olmo when we already had Gundogan, Fermin, Pedri, Gabi, who can play in that attacking midfield position. And then you're still like, no, but I'm still going to sign a left winger. Then that's when you're like, okay, then why did we sign him? But again, I'm not saying he's a bad player. I think he's a good player. But it's just about like, did we really need to invest 55 million on a position that was already covered? I don't know. Anyways, we do have a donation. Sanjog, thank you, my friend. He says, I think we get hurt while giving players long contract with low wages in initial years and then increase in wages towards the end of their contracts. We signed Olmo till 2030. That's going to hurt us. Unfortunately, that's the reality right now. When you do longer contracts, you can spread the cost of the player or the amortization of the player over more years. And as such, that allows you to fulfill the financial fair play regulations or meet the regulations of the financial fair play. That's why it's being done. That's why Barcelona were trying to renew and extend Frankie de Jong's contract to stretch it out by more years to allow them to divide the debt that they had towards Frankie plus the amortization over more years, right? Let's say you buy a player for 60 million and only for 1 year, right? I thought it's not, no one's going to do that. But let's say you sign a player for 60 million for 1 year and you pay him a salary of 15 million. That's 75 million. You have to have 75 million on your wage bill ready to go because that's how much the player is costing you, 75 million for that year. If you sign him 5 years, the 60 million that you paid for him gets divided by 5 years. So that's 12 million euros a year plus his salary, which was 15, right? So that's 27. So you see the difference? First, you needed to clear 75 million on your wage bill to register him. Now, all of a sudden, you only need 27. So that's why Barcelona does these long contracts in order to split the cost of the player over multiple years, allowing them to register these players and not have to have so much margin on their wage bill to be able to register them. And one more donation from the Angry Sparky, who's making it rain. Says perhaps if we just miraculously beat the crap out of Athletic Club this weekend, Nico might change his tune. Honestly, I'm praying and wishing that Barcelona do beat the crap out of Athletic Club this weekend. Not because of it might change the mind of Nico, but because of how they have behaved, whether it was the Negreira thing or the whole thing with Nico, or yesterday we found out they threatened legal action, that they were going to sue Barcelona if Barcelona signed Nico Williams. So yes, I really do hope that Barcelona absolutely whoop them on Saturday. What are the chances? I don't know. Our team's still figuring things out, but I hope so. What up, Best says, hey Mo, I love your content. Love from Richmond, Virginia. All right, you should come by and visit, and also any update on Mika 5. There is an update on Mika 5. It will be in the next video, so stay tuned to the channel. And yes, I would love to visit Richmond, Virginia. I've never been that south in Virginia. I've seen the Shenandoahs. I've been to Alexandria and Arlington because I lived in DC for a short period of time, like 9 months a year. But I would love to visit Richmond. Our Prince says, hey, Mo, I'm Raymond Prince from Nigeria. All right, Nigerian Prince. You're not going to try to sell me something, right? I'm kidding. Is it true that we are going for chess? I think you mean Kessier? I mean Chiesa, not Kessier. And if that's the case, I'll talk about it in the next video. Nima says, hi Mo, the Spanish players' favoritism accusation are simply stupid. I'm choosing to ignore them from now on. They were way worse last year. Last year, every other comment was like, Xabi likes Spanish players. Xabi likes Spanish players. Xabi likes Spanish. It's like, no, he doesn't. 9 of his starters are not Spanish. What the hell are you talking about? But what can we do? Let's see. Super Ice says, Mo, do you think Barca will buy Coman or take him on loan deal. And one more thing, what happened to Fati? Because I don't hear news about him. I think with Fati, we're going to have to wait until the end of the market because he's still injured. And supposedly Benfica want to make a move for him towards the end of the market. And so is Sevilla. Sevilla are kind of sitting back, seeing what happened, kind of waiting for Barcelona to get desperate and then come and swoop him. So I think that's what's going to happen. All right, let's see. Casey says, like you, I'm not convinced about Ferran Torres. So that question is, how does he gain selection to what is shaping up to be an extremely good Spanish national team? That's a good question. And you know what? Okay, please, if you could stop spamming. Otherwise, I will gonna have to restrict your commenting abilities. Let's see. Sorry. Ferran actually does decently with the Spanish national team, which is crazy. Like I've said many times before, I don't think he's a bad player. He's just not Barca level. The same with Rafinha. I don't think he's a bad player. He's just not Barca level. And that's different. But he does decently with the Spanish team. Good for him. Plus good for us because maybe that will eventually raise his value and help us sell him or at least make him attractive option to other clubs because right now nobody wants him and his value is crap. All right, one more, and then we will end this. But let's see. Kester says, I watch a program from Grenada and loving it. All right. Thank you, my friend, and thank you for your comment. Okay, one more. Ahmed says, too many controversies over Barcelona. I am not too convinced of Barca signing new left wing this season. Talk about it next video. I don't want to spoil it. But that is all, my friends. This was the biggest turnout yet. 400 people watching live all at once. Thank you. Thank you a million times. Thank you for the huge turnout. Thank you for your incredibly generous donations, for your comments. Don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next video, which will go up live in an hour if YouTube decides to upload it. Not like yesterday when I didn't upload my video till today in the morning. But thank you, guys. I will see you in the next video. And as always, Visca Barça.